I always thought my family was normal. Complicated, sure, but normal. That illusion shattered completely the day of my mom's funeral, when a single sentence from a stranger upended everything I thought I knew about my life. We were at the grave site. It was overcast, cold for late September. I stood there, staring at the casket as if the weight of it might crush me too. I wasn't crying. I felt blank, a dull buzzing in my head. People moved around me like shadows. Then, from the corner of my eye, I noticed a man I didn't recognize. Early 50s, tall, sharp suit, eyes locked on me in a way that made my skin crawl. There was something strange about his presence, something off. After the crowd thinned, he approached. No introduction, no condolences. He just said, with a cold steadiness, "You deserve to know who your real father was." It was like the world shifted. I couldn't breathe. Growing up, my household was tense, though as a kid I never fully grasped why. My parents, Mom and Rick, were married, but seemed more like uneasy roommates than partners. Arguments would erupt over trivial things, a burnt dinner, a misplaced bill. But the silences afterward were the worst. Rick was emotionally distant, a man of few words and fewer affections. No bedtime stories, no hugs. His discipline was cold and sharp, never violent, but cutting in ways that stuck to my ribs. Mom, in contrast, was suffocating in her attentiveness. She hovered, controlled, micromanaged every aspect of my life. At the time, I thought it was love. "You can't trust people," she'd whisper in my ear. "We only have each other." I wore that mantra like armor, believing our bond was unbreakable. But there were cracks, even back then. Rick's detachment, Mom's paranoia, the lingering feeling that something essential was missing from my childhood. When I was 15, they divorced. Rick moved out with barely a goodbye, and my mother and I became a fortress of two. I buried my questions and focused on being the child she wanted. That man's words at the funeral refused to leave me. Days passed, but my brain kept circling back, obsessively replaying the scene. Finally, I caved and did some detective work. I asked around, combed through old family photos, stalked Facebook groups. It didn't take long to put a name to the face: Alan Morris. Through a mutual contact, I arranged a meeting. A dingy coffee shop on the edge of town. When he walked in, my stomach clenched. He looked tired, older than I expected, but his eyes, the same grayish-green as mine, froze me. We sat. Awkward silence. I broke it. "What did you mean at the funeral? Rick is my dad." Alan looked at me with this unbearable sadness, then pulled out a photo. My mother, young, radiant, holding a newborn. Next to her, him, grinning like the proudest man on earth. "That's you," he whispered. I stared, my heart pounding like a drum. I couldn't make sense of it. Alan laid it all out. He and my mom had been together before she met Rick. She got pregnant with me. But when Alan's drinking spiraled out of control, she left. Fast. Within months, she married Rick, who agreed to raise me as his own, on one condition: Alan would stay away. "I tried to see you," Alan said, his voice cracking. "She wouldn't let me. I wrote letters, sent gifts. Everything came back unopened. I felt like my world was splitting in two. My childhood, my identity, it all felt like a lie. It tut. I left that meeting shaking. Could it be true? I went to my aunt, Mom's sister, for answers. Her face turned pale when I asked. She didn't deny it. In fact, her voice wavered as she confessed, "I always thought she'd tell you." But she was scared. She thought Alan was dangerous, not just because of the drinking. There were other things. Other things? She wouldn't say more. That night, I tore through old family documents, desperate for clarity. Nothing. But a week later, my aunt slipped me an envelope. Inside, copies of legal papers, a custody agreement, a payment ledger. Alan had been paying child support, but there was something odd. A large lump sum payment, marked final settlement. I met Alan again, this time with the papers. His face darkened when he saw them. She made me choose, he admitted. She threatened to drag me through the mud, expose my worst moments, unless I signed over my rights and paid her off. I didn't have the strength to fight. I thought, maybe it was better for you if I stayed away. I was shaking. All those years, Mom played the martyr, telling me, it's us against the world. But secretly, she'd engineered it. She sold my relationship with my real father. I started questioning everything. Was Rick even cold because of his own nature, or because he knew he was raising another man's child? The memories hit differently now. The silences, the tension, the way Rick avoided eye contact when I asked questions about our family history. Had he resented me all along? I dug deeper. Old emails, text threads, anything. And then I found it. A draft email my mother had written but never sent, saved on an old laptop. It was addressed to me, and it changed everything. She wrote about her fear of losing control over me, her shame over past mistakes, her hatred of Alan, and something else. A secret I hadn't expected. She admitted that Rick wasn't just complicit. He'd been the one to suggest taking Alan's money. He'd wanted to adopt me fully, erase Alan from the picture. They'd done it together. It wasn't just Mom's scheme. It was a partnership built on lies. I sat there staring at the screen, my entire foundation crumbling once again. In the following weeks, Alan began reaching out more. At first, I welcomed it, craving a connection, any sense of truth. But then, small things started to feel off. His questions were invasive, his comments a bit too familiar. A creeping sense of unease settled over me. One evening, over drinks, he let something slip, a bitter remark about how much money he'd lost because of me, about how he deserved some kind of relationship now. The words hung heavy, toxic. It hit me. Alan wasn't innocent either. This wasn't just a story of a father yearning for his child. It was layered with guilt, entitlement, and his own unresolved demons. I realized I was caught in the middle of a decades-long power struggle between two manipulative men and a mother who was willing to do anything to keep control. I've distanced myself from both Alan and Rick. My heart is raw. I don't know who to blame more. My mother for her lies, Rick for his cold complicity, Alan for his twisted motives. All I know is this. The truth is never simple. Families are rarely what they seem, and sometimes the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves to survive.